over the course of the last couple of months. The reality is the bullpen is still the strength of this team. And I think, most nights and throughout the postseason, you're looking at a situation where you're just trying to get it to this bullpen with a lead. And that's what the Padres did tonight, and the bullpen was tremendous, predictably. I mean, these guys, when you have a lead, they almost always deliver. And tonight, they only needed Buehler to go 4. They had a lead, and you knew that Buehler wasn't going to be allowed to go super deep in this game if they had a lead. To be quite honest with you, I mean, Craig Stammen sort of treated this like a playoff game, as really he should have. I mean, we talked about it last night. We talked about it today, how important this game was. He managed it from a pitching standpoint, kind of like a playoff game. But the good news was that because the Padres had a lead, and because really the Diamondbacks never had a big threat at all against the bullpen, it was pretty simple managing. He had Rodriguez go 2 to bridge the gap to Estrada, who had the 7th, and to Morahone, and to Miller in a non-save situation, and shut the door on a big win. So, look, the Padres didn't do anything fancy offensively in this game. Their first 3 runs of this game came on a double play ball, a ground out, and a sac fly. Their final 2 runs came on RBI singles in the 6th and the 7th. There was nothing fancy or, showy about what the Padres did offensively in this game, but Walker Buehler, good enough. Arizona had opportunities against him. Buehler found his way out of them. And again, the Padres were able to flip it over to this very, very elite bullpen who, they were spectacular as a unit here tonight. 5 scoreless innings, 2 hits given up. They struck out a grand total of 7 in 5 innings. I mean, what more can you ask for from the Padres bullpen? And before we go to break, and we'll get into the game recap and the radio highlights and dive even deeper into this game, I really want to talk about what Bradley Rodriguez did in this game in particular. But you look at, I think, in this one, really, to me, the recipe for the Padres in a postseason sense. Now, I'm getting way, way ahead of myself for a team that doesn't currently hold a playoff spot, and it's August 6th. But I will say this. To this day, and this has been true for this team going back the last couple of years, ever since they really started to have an elite bullpen. And this is even before the acquisition of Mason Miller. I'm going back to, 2024, late in the year here, where they had Adam and Scott and Estrada and Robert Suarez. It feels like if you can just get this bullpen a lead, they're going to take care of it. I mean, they are an enormously tough bullpen to crack. I mean, right now, you've got Bradley Rodriguez, who to me is now in your high leverage group, but the high leverage group is so big that we don't typically see Bradley in the highest of highest leverage situations. But Bradley Rodriguez has had a stellar year. And he goes out there in a close game, and he gives you 2 innings, and he goes 6 up, 6 down against the first 6 hitters in the D-back lineup, and you haven't even touched Estrada or Morahone or Miller, and fingers crossed you get Jason Adam back at some point this year. Again, I just think, you look at the formula, and it just kind of feels like the goal for this team most nights should be, hey, can you get the bullpen a lead? And see if they can shut the door. And it just seems like in many cases they do, and they all do their jobs. And here tonight, kind of a perfect example of it. It was a well-rested bullpen from the high-leverage standpoint. And you know what? Padres took an early lead, let the bullpen take care of the rest. And no matter how they had to do it here tonight, they secure what is a really, really important series split in Arizona. And now the Padres come back home to face the Houston Astros and the Milwaukee Brewers in a 6-game homestand beginning tomorrow. And that's a tough homestand. Astros, first-place team. Brewers, first-place team. They've had a great year. So tough homestand coming up, but certainly a better feeling coming home with a series split than what would have been the other result if the Padres could not win in Arizona tonight. When we come back, we'll have our full game recap, tell you how this one went down from start to finish. We'll head back to Arizona, hear from Craig Stammen coming up a little bit later as well. Padres win it 5-1 in Arizona. For our YouTube audience, I apologize. We had a little technical difficulty there at the start, but we're rocking and rolling now. So hang with us. Rest of this Thursday evening, we return after this.
Tree, I said to myself, we all lost touch.
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score here tonight, the Padres 5 and the D-backs 1. We'll head back to Chase Field, hear from Craig Stammen in just a little bit. If you want to get a phone call in on this Thursday evening, phone number is always... Sorry about that, folks. We're good. Hey, it happens. You know, I knew I shouldn't have had the wings earlier tonight from the refrigerator. All right. Sorry, it happens. Let's recap this one. How it went down tonight in Arizona.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Final game of this 4-game series, Padres and the D-backs. The Padres aiming for a series split. After a really quiet night yesterday, Padres offense got off to a much better start here tonight. Fernando Tatis Jr. started the game with a double against D-backs lefty Cole Drake. Luis Rengifo laid down a bunt single. That put runners at the corners with nobody out for Manny Machado. He grounded in to a double play, but a run scored. Padres had an early 1-0 lead. Padres starter Walker Buehler stranded 2 on base in the bottom half. Padres offense then got back to work in the second. Drake, he was helping out. He hit a batter, he walked another, and then Rengifo bunted for a single again. I do feel like the Diamondbacks need to practice bunt defense tomorrow. It was a problem for them throughout this series, but Padres would take it. That loaded the bases with nobody out. Manny Machado plated another run with a ground out, so the Padres had a 2-0 lead. One run came in on Manny's double play ball, the other on an RBI ground out, but there were still runners on second and third in the inning for Ty France.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. And France swings, sends it in the air to right field. Carroll over towards the line. Long run, he'll make the catch. Tatis tagging on his way. Here's the throw, no chance to get him. Scores standing up. Rengifo also tags and advances to third, a sac fly, and out 3-0.
So the Padres manufacturing 3 runs in the first 2 innings of this game. They led 3-0 after 2. Bottom 3, Corbin Carroll hit a 2-out double for Arizona against Walker Buehler. Gabriel Moreno is next.
Carroll dancing at second, not going anywhere. And the 0-1 smacked into right field. That's a base hit. Carroll racing around third. He'll come in to score. Fernando's throw will go to second base. 2-out RBI single. Gabby Moreno. It's 3-1.
The D-backs would single twice more to load the bases in that inning, but Buehler got out of it with the Padres still ahead 3-1. That ended up being a really crucial escape job by Buehler in this game. He would pitch a scoreless 4th inning. That was it for Walker Buehler. Padres went to right-hander Bradley Rodriguez in the 5th inning, leading 3-1. Rodriguez pitched a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th inning against the top of the Arizona lineup. Padres still ahead 3-1 going to the 6th inning. Left-hander Philip Abner came in for the Snakes. There were 2 on for the Padre catcher, Freddie Fermin.
And the pitch to Fermin is laced into center field. That's down at a base hit. Merrill rounding third on his way. Waldschmidt's throw is cut by Marte. An RBI single for Freddie Fermin. And the Padres have added on. It's 4-1.
So 5.5 innings in the books. The Padres led 4-1. Rodriguez pitched a 1-2-3 bottom half of the 6th inning. 2 perfect innings of relief for Bradley Rodriguez. We'll talk more about him later. He was stellar here tonight. Top 7, Padres ahead 4-1. Abner still on the mound for Arizona. A runner in scoring position for Jackson Merrill.
Here's the 0-2, and Merrill hits it hard on the ground, right side, under the glove of Tawa, into right field, and a base hit. Machado trots home from third, and it's 5-1.
So the Padres with a comfortable 5-1 lead. They handed the ball to Jeremiah Estrada in the 7th inning. Estrada, a 1-2-3 7th inning. Adrian Morejon came in with the Padres leading by 4 in the 8th inning. He worked around a 2-out single and a scoreless 8th inning. In the 9th inning, it was time for Mason Miller. Not a save situation, but as we said many times, tonight a very important game. So you don't blame Craig Stammen for not messing around in this one. Mason Miller came in. He got the first 2 outs, gave up a 2-out single. The game left up to the D-backs, Tim Tawa.
Now the pitch, and Tawa swings and misses. Strike 3. Couple of Ks for Mason Miller, who seals the deal here tonight. And the Padres take care of their business with a 5-1 win over the Diamondbacks, and they split this 4-game series 2 games apiece.
And that was that here tonight. Final score, the Padres 5 and the D-backs 1. The Padres improved to 60-56. Arizona drops to 61-55. Padres pick up a game on the D-backs for the final wild card spot in the National League. So the Padres end the series 1 game behind Arizona on the outside, looking into the NL wild card picture. Padres and D-backs flip-flopping games in this series. Arizona won the first one. The Padres won the second one. And then you had Arizona winning the third, Padres winning the fourth. So they split this 4-game series at 2 games apiece. Padres, 5 runs, 12 hits, no errors for Arizona. 1 run, 8 hits, and no errors. A well-deserved win here tonight for Bradley Rodriguez, who improves to 3-2. And the young left-hander Cole Drake takes his first decision of his major league career. He drops to 0-1 on the season. When we return, we'll head back to Arizona, hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Again, the final here tonight, the Pods 5 and the Snakes 1 on the Padres Radio Network. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score here tonight, the Padres 5 and the D-backs 1 as the Padres split this 4-game series with Arizona. Padres now heading back home for the start of a 6-game homestand beginning tomorrow at Petco Park. 3 against the Astros Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then 3 against the Brew Crew Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll head back to Arizona, hear from Craig Stammen in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. Again, nothing flashy about this win tonight for the Padres, but a win they had to have, and a game where they just simply got it done. They took an early lead, manufacturing runs in the first 3 innings of this game. I think I said in the game recap, maybe they had a 3-0 lead after 2. I meant they had a 3-0 lead after 3 innings, or I should say 2.5 innings. But the point is, Padres took an early 3-0 lead, and the runs, they got them on a double play ball where a run scored, a sac fly, and a ground out. Nothing flashy about what they did offensively. Walker Buehler did a good job maintaining the lead. He did have to work out of trouble a few times in his 4 innings of work. And then Craig Stammen sort of predictably here tonight after Buehler had thrown just 76 pitches, which is a lot in 4 innings, but could have given Buehler one more. He said no. He went to the bullpen. The bullpen is, I think, even with the additions to the rotation, even with the offense playing better, your bullpen, if you're the Padres, it is the strength of your team. I mean, it absolutely is, with the depth and quality of the arms in that bullpen, and the bullpen absolutely did an A-plus job in this game. Bradley Rodriguez, 2 scoreless innings, and then Estrada, Morejon, Miller combined for 3 scoreless innings, an inning apiece for each, and they shut the door. 5 scoreless innings out of the pen. The Padres did a good job tacking on a couple of runs, one in the 6th inning, one in the 7th inning, and that was the story of this game. Early lead, Buehler good enough after 4, bullpen got it done, tacked on a couple of runs to make it more comfortable. That was it, and the Padres win this game 5-1, earn a series split, a big series split in Arizona. Let's head back to Chase Field in Phoenix and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Well, you acknowledge that, yeah, maybe it was a big game. I wonder if, winning it. What'd you make of the importance of winning tonight?
Yeah, we were down 2 games to the Diamondbacks in the wild card, and now we're down 1 game. We've got a lot of work to do, but today is a good step in the right direction. This series is a big series. Came out as a split. We played these guys pretty even all year round. So we'll see them again later in the year in a 3-game series. Could be the decider of it all, but it's good that we're even going into that series.
Given how it had gone with your bullpen the first 3 games, I imagine you felt about as good as you could taking your starter out in the 4th.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We had the horses in the stable, to say, and they came out and did an amazing job tonight. Did exactly what we were hoping they would do.
What do you make of what Bradley's been all season long, especially tonight, but just the importance of him this year?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the season we were counting on him to be one of the guys, and it was kind of like you see what he's got early in games, and then graduate him to later in games and leverage spots, and now he's kind of one of the guys outside of Adrian and Mason that we kind of rely on, and we're sticking him at the top of the order in a big situation. He's turned himself into one of the best relievers in baseball.
The offense felt like maybe left a few on early, but then added on in the middle.
Yeah, you're right. There was we hit a ton of balls hard tonight, and we had nothing to show for it, and we just kept taking great at bats, kept taking great at bats, and then we had a lead, and then we were able to add on when they brought probably their long reliever in. Is what you have to do when you have a lead. You got to tack on against those guys, and it wasn't big innings, but we were able to get those 1 runs. 2 out hit, big by Jackson there to give us that 4-run lead.
What can't Renfroe do?
But he can do everything. He's fun today. He's trying to move the guy, but also beating him out for hits, and he's just been a little spark plug for us. A lot of energy. Him, Jace Bowen, Samad Taylor, those guys have come to us when we didn't expect it and have provided some instant offense and an instant spark for us. But, he brings energy. Those guys love Luis in there. He's been a big addition to the Padres.
You guys have played 3 series against those guys, and you've split all 3 of them. What do you just make of kind of the back and forth, even nature of what these games have been so far?
Yeah, when you're in your division, you know each other so well. all the hitters know all the pitchers know all the hitters. They've got a great defensive team. We've got a good defensive team, so we're very evenly matched in that regard. And then it's just, kind of, see how it plays out. Like, none of these games were really particularly, like, close. We had the last game and the first game were semi-close at times and then made it a little bit bigger, and then the two in the middle were kind of blowouts. So it's kind of just been that way between us and the Diamondbacks.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen following this 5-1 win for the Padres against Arizona. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studios on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. Interesting point there from Craig Stammen. He's right. For a big series between these two teams, none of the games were like, super tight. Arizona won 5-1 on Monday. Then Padres win 9-4 Tuesday. A 10-4 win for Arizona yesterday, and a 5-1 win here today. Not that the bookends of the series weren't close, but it's not like they were like nail biters as the game got later. So, we're going to see what transpires over the course of the next month and a half, and it does set up a potentially very interesting series to end the year. 3 games between these two teams that are neck and neck right now. But you know what? If you're the Padres, you know what you would like? You'd like those games not to even matter from your perspective in a good way. Hopefully you got a playoff spot wrapped up by the time you get to that final 3-game series of the season. But you never know. There is a chance that those final 3 games decide your fate against Arizona at the end of the year. So for now, we say goodbye to the D-backs, and we'll see them in late September to wrap up the season. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk more about Bradley Rodriguez. You heard Craig Stammen mention Bradley there. I think he's worth a real dive in here tonight. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. If you want to get a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call, 833-288-0973. Final score here tonight, Padres 5, D-backs 1 on the Padres Radio Network.
Jack Murphy.
America's finest city. Oh, yeah. Padres win it 5-1 against the Arizona Diamondbacks on this Thursday evening. We appreciate you joining us wherever you're tuned in from. Really nice win for the Padres in this one as they pound out 5 runs on 12 hits. Good job taking an early lead, and with that early lead, they were able to, and I should also mention Walker Buehler's nice outing as well. You know, not by length per se, but you know what? Went 4 innings, found his way out of some jams, and on a night where you knew Craig Stammen, if he wanted to, would be aggressive with the bullpen, he was exactly that with his relievers here tonight. So let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's Relief Pitcher of the Game, brought to you by San Diego criminal defense attorney David P. Shapiro. We help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Learn more at davidpshapirolaw.com.
And they walked it off in the 11th. Arenado pops it up behind the plate. Fermin's got to push Quinn Walcott, the umpire, out of the way, and he gets there to make the catch on the warning track in front of the backstop to end the inning. A 1-2-3 sixth for Bradley Rodriguez, who goes 6 up, 6 down here tonight.
That was Bradley Rodriguez. He goes, like Jesse said, 6 up, 6 down against the top 6 hitters in the Arizona lineup today with the Padres in front. He gets Perdomo, Carroll, Moreno, Marte, Nootbaar, and Arenado in the 5th and the 6th inning. Strikes out 1. By the way, the play heard there, that was a really nice play by Freddie Fermin. He had to essentially shove the home plate umpire out of the way to get to the foul ball by the netting. Had a long way to go. Really, the umpire didn't do anything wrong. They just kind of ran into each other and nearly caused Freddie the play. Well, that was a good play by Freddie Fermin to end that 6th inning. But what a job by Bradley Rodriguez. 2 scoreless innings, lowers his ERA to 2.29 on the season. And he pitched, I think in particular, some really important innings in this game. Because when the Padres had the early lead and Buehler only went 4 innings in this one, you kind of felt like, okay, you're set up nicely even this early because you got a totally fresh bullpen of high leverage arms, but you are going to need somebody or somebodies to bridge the gap to, again, I at this point, I almost feel like it's unfair not to include Bradley in the big boy group, in the high leverage group, but because of his age and because there's been a little bit of rockiness at times, and believe me, the purpose of this segment is to give Bradley his flowers here. But I guess I still put Bradley just a cut below the Miller, Morahone. I'll put Jeremiah Estrada in there, certainly Jason Adam when he's healthy. Like, to me, those are the 4 at the very top of the pyramid. And then you got Bradley just a cut below. But I'd say he's so close to being in that top level. Honestly, the more I think about it, you might have to put Morahone and Miller in a level on their own. Honestly, with how good those guys are. All right, not to get into the semantics of my tiers of the Padres bullpen. The point is, Bradley Rodriguez did a great job tonight bridging the middle innings, getting the 5th, getting the 6th. He was perfect, 6 up, 6 down. And there's no way around it. The year that Bradley is having, after being pretty good in a limited sample size last season in 7 appearances, at 22 years old this season, he has a 2.39 ERA in 49 innings, 52 strikeouts. I mean, his command is really good. He doesn't walk a lot of people. I mean, Bradley has been a huge part of this bullpen. And again, he's 22. This is his age 22 season. He's not going to be 23 until after the year is over. So, Bradley has had such a good year. And, I think it was fair to wonder when he made the team on the opening day roster, to wonder, okay, look, Bradley's got great stuff. We knew that and has all the potential in the world. But, relievers can be volatile. And you didn't know what you were going to get. And I think Bradley has exceeded, quite frankly, any expectation you could have for his season to this point. To have that kind of ERA, Really, really, really impressive. And, I think I just said he is a 2.39. After tonight, it's a 2.29. He'll end tonight with a 2.29 ERA. I mean, the guy's hovering around a 2 ERA. He's 22 years old. So in tonight's game in particular, he was really important. And overall this season, he's been really, really good. And like I said, you look at the tiers of this bullpen, I'd almost put Morejon and Miller in a category of their own because those guys are so incredibly special. But Bradley, as far as the wider high leverage group, he's there. But I still think he sits behind, certainly in the way they use him, behind Estrada and behind Adam, obviously, when he's healthy, and obviously Morejon and Miller. But takes nothing away from what's been a terrific year for Bradley Rodriguez, really. Truly, truly has. Let's tell you about the Padres' heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health Medical Group.
Heart of the order here tonight, 3, 4, 5 spots in the Padres lineup. Machado, France, and Merrill. Manny in 0 for 4 today did have had an RBI ground that also drove in a run that wasn't an RBI with a double play ball. That was in the first inning. Okay. 0 for 4 tonight, RBI and a run scored. Ty France had 2 doubles in this game and an RBI. And Jackson Merrill had 2 hits in this game with an RBI and a run scored. And Jackson continues to get it done against lefties. That RBI single was against the lefty Abner in the 7th inning. This was a nice series for Jackson, really, really was. I mean, he continues to get it done against righties, against lefties, early in games, late in games. It's been one of the real good storylines to watch Jackson really turn his season around. I mean, Jackson Merrill, his average is now up to 241 on the season. May I remind you, at one point this year, as recently as what point do I want to pick here? You know what? I'll pick, how about this? We'll pick June 26th. He was hitting 209 on June 26th. He's now up to 241. He's got 16 home runs. He's got 55 RBIs. I mean, Jackson, if he keeps going the way he's going, could hit over 250, could have 20-plus home runs, could have somewhere in the neighborhood of, 80 RBIs, keeps doing what he's doing. That's a nice season for Jackson, especially considering, how it was going the first couple of months. He's been a totally, totally different player. OPS-wise, his OPS is up to 688, which is, not otherworldly, obviously, but it's a lot better than what it was. His OPS here in August is 965. His OPS in July was 860. Keep in mind, he had a 606 OPS in June, a 638 OPS in May, a 573 OPS in April. So Jackson has been much, much, much better as the season has rolled along. So certainly a big part of the Padres' offensive turnaround. And again, what I kind of liked about this game, nothing flashy by the offense. Manufactured runs, took a lead, and let the pitching do the rest. All right, we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in a little bit. I do want to squeeze a couple of phone calls in here, 833-288-0973. Phone number to call. Let's squeeze in a couple here before this break. Let's go to my neck of the woods, Ocean Beach. It's Travis calling in. Travis in OB. Travis, what's up? Welcome in.
Thank you so much for taking me. Yes, we were celebrating here in OB. Great win. You said nothing flashy about the offense, but our boys were drilling the ball. How'd it been to that center fielder and the right fielder?
Good point.
It could have been 15-1,
You know what, Travis? I appreciate you calling me out. You make a good point. Number one, they did have 12 hits.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Travis, and I appreciate the phone call. You are right. Like, they hit the ball hard tonight. Waldschmidt made a couple of great plays in deep center. Carroll made a couple of it made at least one really nice play coming in on a ball. You're right. They hit the ball hard here tonight. There's no doubt about it. I think when I say not flashy, it was the way they got the runs, right? I mean, they get it on a double play ball in the first inning, ground out in the third, sac fly in the third, RBI single in the sixth, RBI single in the 7th inning. There weren't any home runs. As far as extra base hits, they had 3 doubles in this game. 2 were by France. So that's what Cronenworth had one too. That's what I really meant. But you're right. You're absolutely right, Travis. Good point. they did hit the ball hard, and, they could have had 15, 16 hits with some more slug in there as well. So good point, Travis. Very astute observation on your part. Let's go to Trevor calling in. Hi, Trevor. How you doing?
Hey, Sammy. Thanks for taking my call.
Yep.
So a couple points. Bradley has done some opening for us, and he's done really well in that role. And I really give him kudos. And he's an unsung hero for sure for our team. Second of all, AJ Preller. How does he do his magic? My goodness, he got 2 really good starters for us. That's wonderful. I mean, maybe they won't turn out well, but I think they will. They've done so well this season.
Yeah.
And third of all, we're going down to see you on Monday for the Pocket T-shirt night. Hopefully Rod and Gonzo and Renee and I will all see you at the loft. And love to see you every time. I'll be there.
All right, Trevor. Sounds good. We'll see you there. Thank you, my friend, for calling in. Trevor made a lot of good points there. You know what, though, I'm going to focus on? He mentioned the superhero pocket tee, and wouldn't you know it, for those of you watching on YouTube and those of you listening on the radio, I'll do my best to describe it here. The superhero pocket tee I have right here in the studio. There's the front. Sorry, I got to take the mic with me a little bit here. Here's the front for those of you watching on YouTube. It's got a nice gold SD logo on it. And then the back is pretty cool. Look at this. Look at the back here. It is the adventures of Merrill Madness and El Nino. You got Jackson and Fernando and cartoon characters. They got Zoom, Crack, Wow, Zip. The Adventures of Merrill Madness and El Nino. This is a very, very cool shirt, and it has the pocket with the SD logo on the front. So they're giving this away on Monday to the first 40,000 fans. So that's pretty cool. So come on out, Trevor and friends, and get your pocket tee, your superhero pocket tee. Very, very cool. And so when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the homestand. We got a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, including a nutty game in Boston tonight at Fenway Park. And I'm going to give you some Red Sox stuff. Man, oh man. I mean, if you're not paying attention to what's going on in Boston with the Red Sox, you really have to. So, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Get you ready for the upcoming homestand. Put a finishing touch on tonight's game as the Padres win it 5-1 in Arizona. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Jamul Casino Resort, Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. Final score here tonight, Padres 5 and the D-backs 1, as we continue to wrap this one up. We'll talk about the upcoming homestand a little bit more in a second, have our play of tonight's game. But right now, let's take a very full and robust look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Thursday.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Well, everything has gone final around the major leagues today. 10 other games aside from this one in Arizona. Angels beat the Orioles 4-1 in Baltimore. Zach Neto hitting his 20th home run of the season for the Halos. The Reds beat the A's in Cincinnati 6-5. 4 home runs in that game for Cincinnati. Ellie De La Cruz, Sal Stewart, Tyler Stevenson, J.J. Bleday hitting home runs. 25th of the season for Stewart in that one. Mets beat the Guardians 13-6 in Cleveland. Marcus Semien, Luis Torrens, and Francisco Lindor, the home runs in that game for the Mets. Brewers beat the Pirates 5-2 in Milwaukee. Jackson Chourio, Gary Sanchez hit home runs in that game for Milwaukee. Cubs beat the Blue Jays in 11-3-2. Kind of a wild ending there. There was a double steal of second and third. Pete Crow Armstrong leading it from second base. Throw went into left. PCA scoring the game-winning run in the bottom half of the 11th inning on the throwing error by the Blue Jay catcher. And Alex Bregman also hit his 12th home run of the year in that game. Tigers beat the Mariners 11-0 in Seattle tonight. Dylan Dingler, Kevin McGonigal hit home runs in that game for Detroit. Framber Valdez, 7 shutout innings for the win. Phillies beat the Nationals 7-3 in Philadelphia. The Twins beat the Royals 4-3 in Kansas City. Royce Lewis, a home run in that game for Minnesota. Braves beat the Marlins 11-3 in Atlanta. Ronald Acuna Jr., 2 home runs in that game. Matt Olson had his 32nd home run of the year in that one as well. By the way, one of those home runs for Acuna, got to watch the video of it. It actually hit really like 2 Marlin outfielders who came together, hit off one of their gloves, and popped over the fence. It should have been caught, and it popped over the fence for a 2-run home run. Braves beat the Marlins 11-3. Then we had an absolutely wild game at Fenway Park tonight, and the Red Sox, they don't lose right now. The game went 13 innings. The Red Sox trailed in the 9th, in the 10th, in the 11th, and the 12th. So they trailed in 4 consecutive innings. The game was then tied at 11 going to the bottom half of the 13th inning. Caleb Durbin hit a walk-off single in the bottom half of the 13th inning, and the Red Sox win it by a final score of 12-11 in 13 innings. And just so you have an idea of what is going on in Boston, Massachusetts with this Red Sox team, they've won 8 in a row. Since June 25th, the Red Sox are 31-5. Did you hear that? 31-5 since June 25th. Remember, they had that long winning streak. Well, now they've won 8 in a row, so they're rolling again. And remember, the Red Sox at one point this season, Alex Cora was fired. Chad Tracy became the interim manager. I mean, the sky was falling in New England. And they've just totally turned their season around. 31-5 since June 25th. Unbelievable. What a win. Just a crazy game with the Red Sox and the White Sox. Red Sox prevail on the Durbin walk-off single. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Thursday. Final score tonight in Arizona, Padres 5 and the Diamondbacks 1. Let's hear tonight's play of the game.
One bounce, one hit, one pitch can be the difference between victory and defeat. What was the most important play in today's game? This is today's play of the game. Presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Restoration and Flood. We know how.
And the pitch to Fermin is laced into center field. That's down at a base hit. Merrill rounding third on his way. Waldschmidt's throw is cut by Marte. An RBI single for Freddie Fermin. And the Padres have added on. It's 4-1.
Ready for me in an RBI single in the 6th inning. That gave the Padres a 4-1 lead. Nice insurance run for the Padres as they tacked on another in the 7th inning to make it 5-1, and they would go on to win by that final score. So the Freddie for me an RBI single is tonight's play of the game. As always, our post-game coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey player, the rooftop pool's open, day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. All right, let's take a look ahead to the upcoming series for the Padres against the Houston Astros, and then the Padres taking on the Brewers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So a 6-game homestand beginning tomorrow. Some things to keep in mind. During the 6-game homestand tomorrow, left-hander Robbie Ray will make his Padre debut. We'll get to the full pitching matchup there in a second. There's a beer fest in Gallagher Square tomorrow, $5 craft beers before first pitch. That always sounds great. Got to be honest with you, beer fest, it sounds awesome. It does make me a little jealous that I can never enjoy any bit of, I never can enjoy I enjoy let me be clear. I enjoy Petco Park. I cannot partake in any beer fest activities. I'm working. But that does sound fun. Always looks fun out there. Saturday night, it is a 4:15 p.m. start time. So kind of a unique sunset start time on Saturday. And Sunday, it's, as always, Kids Fest. Following the game as kids run the bases as well on Sunday. Then Monday, we showed you the Superhero Pocket Tee going to the first 40,000 fans on Monday against the Milwaukee Brewers. Very, very cool giveaway. For all your ticketing needs, more information, go to padres.com/tickets. And if you want to see more information about the giveaways, including the Superhero Pocket Tee, go to padres.com/giveaways. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage here tonight, you can go ahead and listen back to it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our post-game coverage there as well. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight for the Padres. 5 runs, 12 hits, no errors. They left on 9. For the D-backs, 1 run, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 7. Winning pitcher here tonight, Bradley Rodriguez, who improves to 3-2. Losing pitcher, Cole Drake, who drops to 0-1. Time of game, 2 hours, 47 minutes. In the crowd at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, 21,884. As the Padres move within 1 game of the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NL wildcard standings. A homestand beginning tomorrow. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Nick Danucci, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from inside our San Diego studios. Again, the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 5 and the Arizona Diamondbacks 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park right here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.